Hello and welcome back to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. And in this video we are obviously taking a look at the retro carded Lady Loki figure from Hasbro Pulse. So let's dive straight into it. Now originally this was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that came in a box set, and in this package you get 2 additional hands, and the really nice little thing here is the pegs are actually the same green as the arms, so there's no like flesh coloured showing through when you change the hands over. Taking a look at the head, the sculpt on the head is really nice. The crown is awesome, the kind of medallions in the hair, and the hairpiece is nice as well. Now there's no movement in the ball peg there, so you cannot move the head around, and the cape has no peg either. It's the same cape as the Black Panther Shuri figure, I believe, but because there's no movement in there, the head basically just holds the cape on. While we've got the head and the cape off, let's have a quick look at the body. So the articulation is what you would expect in a figure of this size, a female 6-inch figure. These arms do feel a little bit loose, I'm not going to lie, they feel a little bit loose at the shoulders there. But you put the cape on and you put the head back on, and the hair kind of holds the cape in place. So you can't really move the head around, but that's not a big deal because it's a very detailed and cool looking figure. Now I wasn't fortunate enough to pick her up in the box set, so it is a figure that I've been chasing after for quite some time. So when I found out that Hasbro were doing a re-release on the retro card, I was very eager to snap her up. Just pointing out as well here, she's got like fingernail paints on the open hand, but on the closed hands she hasn't. But it's a nice little detail to have that kind of nail varnish on the fingers as well. Now this really is what I would want from a kind of exclusive figure. All the details on it are really nice. There's a lot of kind of unique sculpt in there in the head and the crown. And there's a few parts that are reused. So looking at the top cuff of her boots, they look like something that was used on the Rogue figure, and a couple of others as well. But you can move them around. There's quite a lot of articulation there, even though they're not fixed in place. But you see that's just dropped down a little bit. So you just push that up and it will kind of fit back in place and not flap around. As I said, the cape is, I think it's the same cape that was used on Shuri. But I'll have to double check, but it looks very similar, but obviously just a different colour palette. I'm not familiar with the belt. I think the belt piece is a unique sculpt for this particular figure, but then obviously the open hands and stuff we have had on previous figures. So we have them on quite a lot of figures that have sort of like a power that comes out of their hand. So this is the best way I can think of saying it. But you know, figures like Wanda and Rogue and stuff like that. But yeah, she's really cool. She looks really good next to some of the other classic villains. The metallics on her costume really stand out, and sometimes when you've got this painted on detail, that it doesn't show up as much, but it's kind of like the scaling like armor part of her body really stand out because they're done in like a nice metallic paint, and the lines are all really crisp on it. I can't actually find any defects in regards to the paint. Sometimes there's the odd paint app like QC issue, but I cannot actually find any on her. As I said, I suppose the only drawback is that the articulation in the arms is limited by this cape. So by having the cape on, you can't put her arms up much higher than they are there. But if I just slide this cape off, I know I said about taking the head off, but you can just slide it out there. You can see there's quite a gap there between the back of her head. So even though she looks quite cool without the cape on, she would only look cool from the front. You wouldn't want to kind of display her from the side because there's quite a gap there in the hair. But then you get full articulation in the arms as well as the legs. So you can actually have her in some cool poses. This isn't one, this is just me messing around. But yeah, I mean, she's a solid figure. She's definitely one of my favourite exclusives this year. Even though she has come in right at the end of 2021, she definitely makes that cut because, as I said, she's a figure that I've been chasing after for quite some time. I almost had her at one point, but the price tag on her was ridiculously high and I just wasn't willing to pay it because I had this sneaking suspicion that we were going to get a re-release at some point, so I just held out and I was very pleased to be able to pick her up. I would definitely recommend picking her up if you can. She's available from obviously Pulse, but I've also seen her on the shelves in some stores as well. So if you have a chance, then she's fallen over there. But if you do have a chance, then definitely do pick her up, because she is a very cool figure. I'm really gutted that I haven't got the original release to look at them side by side to see what differences there are, but I'm sure there are differences, because the Hasbro guys always say that they're not just going to do a straight re-release, so there will be a slight difference somewhere, whether it's paint applications or a slight change to the figure. So that's about it. If you're enjoying the 5-minute figure reviews, then please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. But yeah, the Lady Loki figure, the retro carded Lady Loki figure, is a solid figure. Catch you next time.